Brandon,
And I'm Brandon.
and welcome back to Apollo City Comics, your anything and everything comic book podcast. It's so weird,
There
like
it
we're doing the
is.
visual thing, and like I have to
Yeah, I
look at the
know.
camera now.
I'm all like, we're recording. Let me go change my shirt.
Yeah, right. Like I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that. I just got back from the gym in the shower, and I don't even look proper. My background, I got to soup this up. I'm gonna put some
I know. I
posters.
do a blurry one because
Coffee
like
and a
you don't.
comic. Send me some Venom and Hulk and Thor Thor posters in my next order.
Yeah. Hook it up with the
Um,
posters though.
And speaking of which, we'll start off this episode with some cool news. And this, we recorded the other one, so there's edits in that post. But the discount code we have from Coffee and a Comic, I don't even think I've told you yet. It's no longer 10%. It's 15%. So when you
Look at that.
yeah, when you use our discount code, you get 15% off your. You know how much fucking money that is off your order for comics? Bagged and boarded books with coffee, with your comics and whatever variant cover you want and all that. Set up a pull list. You won't miss out on anything right now. Dude,
Mhm.
bagged and boarded books is just like my selling point. Like for
Mhm.
the collectors that know, for you, man, we always talk about stacks of books that are just
Yeah,
unbagged
I
and boarded.
hate organizing and putting them in bags and boards.
I
So many reasons.
right before I moved, I had so many without bags and boards from my regular shop. I
I
just
know.
put them in the box, and I'm like, dear God, I don't want anything. Hopefully, nothing leaks. Hopefully,
Well,
nothing
like,
happens. Like,
The thing is, like, I'm not big in like the trading or reselling of books, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, as long as it doesn't like get torn or bent badly, it's okay. And,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
So
exactly.
I just let it sit there.
I just like my books to be real clean. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that too. Of
Yeah,
course,
you
don't
know
get
what I
me
mean.
wrong.
It's just like that aesthetic. Like, it's like
Oh,
$4
totally.
a book.
Oh, dude, even more. Like,
Yeah, sometimes.
like if you don't do that, and just to give anybody perspective, I mean, some store, at least my comic book store, they do 20% off, or they have in the past for free comic book day, and that's a big discount. So
Yeah.
to get 15%,
Every
pretty
order.
nice.
That's
Yes.
it. I'm just saying, coffeeandacomic.com. Go hit up our boy. Give him some love. He's always shown the show some love, and we're gonna get him on the show
Mhm.
soon. We gotta do our follow up with his slabs. That's such a crazy story. We've been talking about it for a while, but I mean, our schedule's been crazy. So soon, it'll happen.
Yes.
But we're kind of doing something a little different because, for one, we're gonna try to utilize our damn digital subscription.
I know,
'Cause
right?
we have so much stuff in general, but we're also, my comics are like fucked right now. I like this is all unread comics right here. I'm just gonna show you. This is my unread
Yeah,
comics.
there it
These
is.
are-
Mine is somewhere around, but
there's
I've got a few
more.
I got to read still.
I got trade. I got all this crap. I got books. So we're doing this really cool thing because you know what? This was your idea, and the thing behind it was like, we're like, I don't think not everyone's read the first issue of a lot of these
Yeah,
heroes. you
well,
know?
like origin story issue.
Yeah, nobody's really not nobody. It's stupid, but like not everyone has dived into it. No matter how, I've never read this shit before.
No, neither. Like people are gonna hate me, but I've actively avoided like Silver Age books just because they're like a little bit of a chore to get through.
Hell yeah, they are.
Hell
So
yeah, they are.
but we also wanted to dive in, not only just to check out the first issue, the origin story, but we've also been investigating, like, when we listen to, artists and creators talk, they always deep dive into this stuff. Jim Rugg's Grand Design just did that, and also we might get him on the
With
show
Incredible
soon.
Hulk, yeah.
We might have him on the show soon. So we were thinking, basically, like, let's deep dive into like the beginning stuff to see where people drew inspiration from. Like what about this origin is still relevant and has carried on through these characters today. So last time we did Daredevil, now we're on the Incredible Hulk, the strangest man of all time. Fantasy as you like it. Is he man or monster, or is he both? Dude.
Like, God damn, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Dude, for real. Fun fact, we missed the anniversary. Well, as of now it's June, we're recording, but this was May of 1962.
Oh wow. Yeah, it says right fucking there, 1
Yeah.
May 1962. That is insane. We should have
60
done
years.
this. I bet you, we knew that. That's why Grand Design came out. We never even put two and two
I
together.
know, right? Well, to be fair, I like the Hulk, but I wasn't like a hardcore fan.
Same. I had some
Yeah.
really cool Hulk issues as a kid, and it turns out now those, of course, like all my cool comics as a kid, now those are the valuable ones that are worth money, and I can't
And you
afford.
destroyed them,
I destroyed them. I don't have them anymore, and now they're too expensive, and I can't buy
stapled them to your
them.
wall. Yeah.
Like $50 an issue. I'm not gonna do that.
These are great posters.
Yes, dude. But I love the Hulk, and I kind of I haven't read a whole bunch of Hulk. I can name all the Hulk
No,
in a
neither
handful
have I.
right now. I've done those issues when I was a kid, which were dope as fuck, and I'll find them and post them or something. And then I did Planet Hulk and World War Hulk, and then I'm reading Immortal Hulk. I don't know why I said Immortal Hulk. I'm reading Immortal Hulk right now. I'm only on like issue 30 of that though. Like that's my Hulk. I think I might have read some Sam Keith Hulk. That's it.
I've read Indestructible Hulk by Mark Waid of all runs.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
That's some cool stuff. He's like time traveling and riding dinosaurs. I never finished it though.
See, Hulk goes from like really cool sometimes to like the goofiest shit ever.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. There's one cover where he's on a fucking T-Rex and he's like holding it by the reins and like it's so sick. But
interesting.
There's that, and then I'm reading the Donny Cates Hulk, and then I just
Donnie's
got
Hulk. The coolest
I
shit
just
ever.
got volume 2 of Immortal Hulk, the hardcover. I bought that hardcover you recommended.
Oh, nice! You got it. Okay, cool. Nice.
Finally came in the mail. So hopefully I can marathon some Immortal Hulk. It's just I'm always behind with my backlog, as always.
Behind him, yeah, we're behind on everything.
Yeah,
I'll show you guys my.
I'll get to it eventually.
I just got a new trade that I shouldn't have bought recently too. For like $10 on eBay. It was great. But that's it. That's kind of like your Hulk and Grand Design too. I read Grand Design as well.
Oh yeah, that too. That was like 2 issues of like his entire history.
Yeah, it's like a solid 80 pages. It's worth mentioning. Go read that, guys. Like the composition in that book, like everything, phenomenal. Man, what a way to sum up the Hulk's history. But today, we're doing issue 1. There's a Jack Kirby, Stan Lee shindig, which is awesome because it's also Kirby June, which is a thing. But flip through comics.
His birthday coming up, right? No,
not
his birthday's
August.
in August.
Yeah, August.
Yeah.
Same day as T'Challa's birthday, which is also the death of Black Panther. It was the birth and death of Black Panther, because Chadwick Boseman died that day, and I got a cat claim me.
That's right. Yeah, that all happened in the same day.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, let's dive into this. I'm pretty hyped about this one. I won't lie. This Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I like how it says J. Kirby in like the most childish letters, like lettering I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't.
Stanley's
like,
all
yeah,
smooth.
He's like, look at my signature.
Looks like a 4-year-old wrote that. Half man, half monster, the mighty Hulk thunders out of the night to take his place among the most amazing characters of all time. Part 1, The Coming of the Hulk.
I know, right? Man. How they section it off in parts.
3 times we know it's the Hulk. We get it. Read the fucking Hulk.
We get it, Stan.
Kirby's like designed for this. Like you could tell, I mean, like all the early like, superhero designs, like you could tell how much it's just crazily evolved from this first like incarnation, Yeah. I would love to see like an issue, like the later issues of this series and see what else he did with them. I haven't read any of the early Hulk stuff. I will gladly admit that on my show now. Like,
there's that thing I read just before this where the first 5 issues were Kirby, and then the series was canceled at issue 6 with Ditko doing the art on 6.
Oh fuck, that's cool. Yeah. Now I want to read all of this. Dope. So I love how
to see how the Ditko Hulk looks.
I love this like Kirby penis rocket design that we start off on panel 1.
Yeah, the first panel ever of Hulk. He's like, there it is, guys. I got it.
We're talking about big things in this issue. That's what we're doing.
The G-bomb.
The G-bomb. Oh my god.
The G-bomb.
That is perfect for the name of this. That is ridiculous. So honestly, I read this first page and I was quite impressed because this sets up a whole lot in one page. It sets up like where they are, what they're doing, the scope of it. It sets up like 4 characters We have Banner. We have Igor, Dr.
I know.
Frankenstein's.
Wouldn't it be Igor?
Igor? It's pronounced Igor.
It's,
They told me Igor. Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?
Hey, your name is Igor.
I love nice Mo Brooks reference right there. But and then you also know, man, this is just too funny.
Well, you meet Ross.
Yeah. I was naming off the characters. Banner, Igor, Ross, and then Betty, all in page 1, and you kind of get their relationships right away too. Like, you're not confused when you read this first page.
No, it's pretty straightforward. You're like, okay, he's a scientist, and then there's something between him and Betty Ross. Let's talk about the much dated dialogue where he says, "You keep out of this, Betty. This is man talk." And I was like, oh, whoa.
General Ross is just such a shitty character I mean, he was designed to be shitty, but like, you really just
like, I was like, okay, damn, they put it in bold and everything.
Harumph.
Yeah.
Give him a harumph.
Yeah, I know. What is that supposed to be like?
But they you also know that they're dealing with gamma rays. You're like, oh crap, this is some scientific military grade stuff that we're handling right now.
Yeah. Fun fact: Stan Lee didn't know what he was talking about.
Hell no, he didn't. You're absolutely right about that.
He was just admitted to that. He was like, I talked about radiation and gamma bombs because that's what was trending in the news, because it was the atomic era, right?
Yeah.
So like,
he didn't know what they did.
Any sort of like anything nuclear related was on everybody's minds. So he kind of was like, well, that's what I'm going to use, and that's why there's so many references to nuclear waste, nuclear bombs, and radiated spiders and shit like that. Like,
he just chose gamma because it sounded cool.
Yeah, he literally said, I had no idea how it works, and then he just went with it. I mean, that's fine too, because like, this was something that like he felt nobody was paying attention to.
Yeah. So
he just did what he wanted, and it was like fantasy at its peak, where he just kind of just going with it.
That's good stuff. I mean, it worked. Yeah, this is the second page. You kind of see the conflict between him and Igor. And it also, what's his name? Rick Jones. It also introduces Rick Jones, who's just like this random ass teenager just cruising his car in the middle of the desert. Like,
so let's talk about look at that panel. He literally says, "What? Wait, what's that? Good Lord, it's a boy, a teenager." And I'm like, aren't you at like a bomb testing site?
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I make this very clear. It's really hard for me to read these like 1960s comics. I understand their importance, but like, reading it now, you're like, Jesus Christ, like, how the fuck does that translate to modern day? Like, okay, like,
yeah, it's they're supposed to be in the middle of nowhere testing a bomb. How many hours was Rick Jones just cruising throughout the desert? In the desert, like, not even on a road. Like, there's no road where we're going. We don't need roads. There's no roads like out there at all. I don't know what Rick Jones is doing.
Let's I was gonna talk about something that was interesting with this though, from like a craft standpoint. Go back a page. So this is the thing. The 9-panel grid has always existed.
Yeah.
But Ditko and Marvel kind of made it cool and popular. And if you look at these first 2 pages, they follow a 9-panel grid format until they break. So in this one, you have the 3 panels that line up with the top 3 line up with the bottom 3, but then they're broken up with the ones in the middle. And then the ones, when you go to the next page, it's still the 9-panel grid, but it's kind of like swapped.
Yeah. I mean, it's 8 panels, but yeah, it's that format. It's that cool break with the enlarged 2, and it's the same like shuffled deck.
It's interesting because I was trying to figure out why they did that. They kind of did things just to do it. But what's also interesting, and maybe this is me over analyzing it, but this top right panel is literally bigger than the one to its left.
Yeah, it definitely is.
But in the other page, it wasn't. And my thoughts on it, at least like as to why they did that, why there isn't any. Too. Yeah. I like to think Kirby was trying to show off his art when he wanted to, because he was known for the way he drew technology and like equipment and machinery and computers and all that, or whatever it may be. And I feel like that's what he was trying to show off. I could be wrong.
Well, I
But
mean, in this the middle left one, you kind of have
yeah.
more of the team coming in, so you're kind of bringing, which trips me out because you figure that would be a larger panel compared to the one
Mhm.
on the right. That's a good thing to point out. We gotta investigate that some more, because even I can understand the technology standpoint on this panel to the top right, because it's that supercomputer and whatnot. Although
Yeah.
that's not the most Kirby computer we've ever seen, but it's like the
No, he
Kirby.
gets crazier.
Yeah, there's some, actually. Look at the rocket ship. Look at that. Bam. That's a Kirby missile. Like it
What
looks
did
like
you
a
call it?
ship.
The penis gamma bomb?
It's what the D bomb is actually the
The
G
G
bomb,
bomb with
because it finds the G
the
spot.
the fat
Um,
vein in the middle.
Dude, it even has a vein. It even has. I wasn't gonna be the one that says it, but it has a vein. You know what I mean?
But what I was gonna say is this issue, for the most part, it kind of follows that 9-panel grid format all the way through. You
This
don't
one
notice it
definitely.
until you go looking for it. And what's interesting as well is that the panels don't line up 100%.
No, yeah, that's a weird part. They're not balanced, which is even odder. You know what I mean? I'm wondering what the choice was behind that, to have certain ones pop out a bit more. Because like even some of the ones that do, like you would figure. I mean, to me, I would assume the middle row would have the larger panels on this page,
Mhm.
not the top row. So why do the top row have larger panels than like the explosion itself? Unless they're really trying to zone in and isolate that explosion on Banner, you know?
Yeah.
Because the other one, it's wider because it's like, okay, they're running and then it's zooming in on that computer. And so I could see those big moments, like, and you're kind of like in a movie where they kind of zoom in the camera a little bit, but it's like
Yeah.
things feel bigger. And then on the explosion, it's like super tight. Even when he wakes up, I'd expect that bottom left panel to be one of the larger ones because he's in a state of panic.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the panels are bigger when it. I guess when my speculation is he's trying to show something off, right?
But I mean, what's he showing off in
And
the middle one? You know what I mean? Like even on the
mm,
computer on this other one, there's not much to show off
that's
at
the
that
thing.
point.
It's hard to say. We can't, like it's all speculation. But my reasoning would be there's something behind it. I just can't pinpoint it.
Yeah. Or it could just be like,
Or he thought it looked cool.
yeah, it could just like laid out that way in general too.
Yeah.
But looking at this one, I mean, fucking Home Slice is playing a harmonica and just
I can't get over, like, let me drive into the middle of the. Well, then it was the 1960s. It's what else are you gonna do? I guess.
by himself, not even with the girl. Like I'd expect him, you know what I mean? Like there's certain
Hey,
things that would
baby,
make
let's go
this
to
make
this.
sense. He's not like
go to this-
smoking out. He's just not having a beer. He's playing harmonica in the middle of the desert, probably
Hey,
hours away from civilization.
dude, it's the comics code. He can't be out there with a beer. He's got to have a harmonica. Okay. And
Yeah, he can't be with a woman, can't have stash. Like there's no reason Rick Jones needs to be there right now.
It's like what's funny to me is he drives hours out, and then he's just like, this is the spot right here. That government warning about this being a testing site, no, not gonna happen.
Well, and it's funny. The page before, we forgot to mention that Igor kind of, he's against Banner. He wants to know the secrets behind the gamma radiation formula.
That he conveniently wrote at home.
Yes, which was ridiculous. Here comes T'Challa. He's gonna mess with my stuff right now. He just popped up behind my computer and start fucking with shit. But so that's what in this one scene. Meanwhile, at the bunker, not having been told to delay the firing, a finger touches the fatal button. 3, 2, 1, 0, and dude, he just lets Banner get blasted by this gamma radiation.
I know, he's just like, let's just blow it up, guys.
And he's of course like a Russian spy that's like behind everything. Thanks, T'Challa. Thank you, sir. Get out of my way. And the explosion, man, the coloring on the explosion is so cool. That shade of green, you understand why Hulk is later the shade of green.
I never actually read into that. Do you know why they changed it from gray to green?
They actually say it like I think they talk about the reasoning why the Hulk does it, but for the coloring, I want to say it was because of printing. How they were able to get that gray radiant, it was so difficult, and they changed the color to it, and I guess it just worked better. I'm positive. I know there's more in-depth stuff to that, but That was like that's like the base cause behind it.
Mm.
My cat's fighting random stuff now. But he wakes up screaming in like the hospital bed, and he's just super lost. He's just like super tripped out, hasn't transformed yet. And then Rick Jones, how does Rick Jones okay? Oh, he tossed him into a pit. How is going
Like,
into like a trench gonna save you from a gamma
well, the thing is,
radiation?
it's like a gamma bomb, so it's like a radiation blast, right?
Yeah, like that doesn't just
So-
like laser out. You know what I mean? Like,
No, it's kind of like a whole area affected.
Yeah.
It's not like specific spots. So
no.
I
Like,
don't
you
know,
can't
man.
hide-
Comic books.
You can't hide behind a fucking rock and avoid gamma
Dude.
radiation. It's just
What
one
kind
of
of
those
name?
things.
Like, what kind of name is Rick Jones? By the way, like it just seems like such a stereotype name. Like, hi, I'm Rick Jones. And I'm here to be your sidekick.
It
Like,
sounds like an adventurer or something like that. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Maybe they
a
thought it
pulp
sounded
thing.
cool. I don't know.
There's some kids out there named Rick Jones. Rick Jones is kind of a cool name. I'm not gonna lie. Like that sounds
Sounds like a movie star. Like,
It's like
fake
Indiana
name.
Jones type of thing, you know? Like,
Oh wait, no, he has a real name. That's his nickname.
oh, what's his real name? Do they say his damn name over here?
His name is Richard Milhouse Jones. Cool. Yeah.
Anyone named Milhouse is just ridiculous.
And he was known as Rick Jones for like 40 years until he was A-bomb.
I wonder how many modern people are named Milhouse.
I feel like after The Simpsons, either a lot aren't or are.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not for the regular reason. So Banner wakes up and we see the first transformation into the Hulk, and it's interesting because he goes from a purple to like it's not even gray. I think that's why they had to change the color, was because it looks like even like a teal almost, you know?
Yeah,
doesn't-
it's like a blue in a way.
yeah, exactly. Like it's what a quick transformation too. Like,
Can you imagine seeing your homie transform and he's like, hey, you changed. Get out of my way, insect. Like,
dude, yeah. Oh, and in Grand Design, I think they also explain why he goes from speaking regular English to like monstrous stuff. Like he can't like formulate that. But dude, you just got smacked by the Hulk, Rick Jones.
I know,
Like,
he got backhanded.
backhand, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Straight
just, whack.
up. Without a thought. This is kind of cool because this gives you the first like glimpse of like, you know, this isn't Banner in control. This is a different consciousness like taking over at this point. Like he has transformed into something else and barriers have been crossed. And that's a cool setup, and just showing, you know, Kirby, he just transforms, and then a page later, after whipping the little kid out of the way, he goes and really demonstrates his like strength by like
He-
destroying the wall, the car.
Well, not just that, he backhands him, crushes a fucking, is it?
It's like a
they call the
military
wall like cardboard. He says like 2 feet of like steel or concrete or something like that. I don't know. But the thing that kills me with this is like, you saved my life. You need me now. Wait, I'm going with you.
Oh my gosh, that's true. Yeah, that was like the most ridiculous Jar Jar Binks moment out of this whole issue. You know, like somebody owes somebody a life debt. Like, hey man, you're good. He's a monster. He just smacked the shit out of you too. Like, how do you even get up from that?
Yeah, I
I'd be
know. He's like
crying.
uncontrolled strength.
Like your ribs are probably broken. Like I wouldn't be able to breathe for that. Oh, this is also like a 5-part epic issue too.
it's a 5-part epic,
The Hulk
like a
strikes.
silent dreadnought.
The hulking thing that was once Bruce Banner crouches in the shadows as the pursuing troops rush by. Mustn't let them find me.
God.
Cool, like Kirby military drawings though. Like that is
Yeah.
dope. That is too cool. And here we have named the beast, and this is the coolest panel in the entire book. Fan out, men. We've got to find that Hulk.
And thus,
A name is given to Bruce Banner's other side, a name which is destined to become immortal. Dude, Immortal Hulk right there. That's where
Yep.
that's where they got the title. How cool.
easily. I wanted to talk about this. Like, we all know that like there's nods and references to previous runs, origins of the character, and all that in modern day.
hmm
And it's just another example of it's out-ooing, right?
Yeah, I always mess it up. So
Yeah.
I know
He
the Al
definitely does
part.
research. I'm pretty sure outliving someone that like read Hulk their whole life and was ready to like pursue it at some point, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, hell yeah. And it's cool because another big reference pullback to like how these first issues have influenced later runs is that Home Slice Ryan just had Jason Aaron on his show on the Mighty Bifrost, and dude, that it's cool because Jason Aaron reveals how he named Gore, and he was saying I want to say it was from the very first issue of Thor where there's some people there, some aliens, some like stone people, and one of them is named Gore. So he took that name and used it for his character. And it's like just like Al did it with Immortal Hulk. Bam. Like and
Yeah.
also like of course my Hulk knowledge and history isn't like top tier at all. So I don't know how, but we always you know, mainstream people, most people just kind of know that the Hulk turns into the Hulk or Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk because of anger. He gets angry or he dies and he gets angry and then he transforms. But Immortal Hulk dates back to this concept where nighttime is the Hulk and daytime is Banner. And
Yes.
I've never seen that before, ever, except for
No,
Immortal Hulk in this issue.
I thought that was interesting that at first the Hulk was like this creature of the night, and then
Yeah.
Bruce Banner was like person of the day.
Yeah. What a trip,
And it's interesting because when you think about like all the major like Marvel characters, I haven't read all the origin stories, but this seems like the one that had the most drastic change.
I could say that. I could agree with that too, Um Yeah, because well, we just did Daredevil. I mean, all he did just kind of get blind and super acrobatic about stuff. And then you have Spidey, who's still Spidey no matter what. He's still Peter Parker. But
Practically the same suit.
yeah, yeah, straight up like but dude, Hulk from his appearance cuz here he's very universal monster. He's Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll,
Yeah.
Mr. Hyde, Wolfman, nighttime Dracula, like operating in that type of sense. Like they kind of took all these cool monsters that were around and put it into this concept. But now he's just like this insane devil monster beast of a thing that's also now dude Smastronaut. If you guys haven't read Smastronaut, go read that right now and you'll redefine what the Hulk means and what he is in general. But yeah, I could see that because he's man, even Iron Man, he's gone through some transformation, but it's not as prominent as much as the Hulk, I would say. The
I
Hulk
haven't read a
has
lot of Iron Man, so I'm not too sure.
me either. I'm going by assumption at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. I would agree. Just off of what I've read and kind of just like somewhat analyzed. Yeah. I would totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And this is just him getting hunted down at night. This page, which is cool. Good stuff. It's kind of weird how like the dialogue boxes are kind of formed, how they're in the gutters on this page.
I was gonna point. I really look at things to try to figure out what it is they're doing, and I feel like just for a lot of the time they were just like, "This looks cool, let's just do it," and there's not really any like sort of like scientific explanation to it, you know.
Especially like this was Irby. This is kind of like early like Kirby superhero drawings too. I think he had a lot more planned when he got to like really be himself and really get into Thor and really get into new gods, and as he got older in age and whatnot, like that's where he crafted and put things in a specific way and really messed with perception and stuff like that. These early ones are very, they feel like his like romance comics almost like that format and pacing.
Yeah, was this before Fantastic Four? It was, right?
No, Fantastic Four was first.
It was.
What
Oh,
was
that
it?
was kind of like the beginning of all all their superhero stuff, basically.
I think Hulk. Why don't we know this?
I know, right?
off,
Well, I don't read Fantastic Four, so
I was just reading Fantastic Four.
it kind of hurts a little that when you search up Fantastic Four, you get a movie. One of the not good ones.
Oh yeah, it's
always it was just a year, 1961. It wasn't even a whole year. It was November of 1961.
Oh, okay. So this was May of 62. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like
that's
a 6-month difference.
But this is when they were spitting stuff out like crazy. I think that's when did Daredevil come out? because that was the same time as X-Men, right?
I believe it was the same time.
Man, I typed X-Men 1 and I got the 2000 film.
Let's see.
X-Men number 1, 1963. So this was the following year. So that was Daredevil 63. Okay, cool. So this makes sense. Hulk is still one of the very first at that point.
Why can't I find it?
Oh, it was 63. It was the same year as X-Men.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And this is where we find the Russian spy digging through the notes, trying to find the gamma ray formula. And then Hulk comes in.
It has to be here.
Dude just like crushes this gun. I really like how they just demonstrate the pacing is a lot better than I don't know if we said it on the show or right before we were talking, but this was a much smoother read and the pacing is a lot better than in Daredevil for some reason. Well, it was
a lot more digestible.
Yeah. I think Kirby's fluidity behind his action. I mean, the thing is, like, Kirby's storytelling throughout all these panels is beautiful. Like, you get it. Like, you're not lost. It's not over explained. It's the right amount of pacing to keep you flowing the entire time. Like, this whole little gun crush scene and then following up by picking him up and everything and into the next page, like tossing him across the room. Dude, that is too cool. Also, the stupidest place to put a secret.
Like, I know, how convenient. The top secret report on gamma ray bomb.
You not even duct taped it, like not even scotch taped it. Like, nah,
dude.
I don't know.
It's just like bandage tape. It's like
yes, like when those people, when you break your nose, they put that little. It looks like a nose strip. They put nose strips on a beaker to hide the gamma ray, the top secret report on gamma ray bomb. And then Hulk sees a picture of himself. Because
he's like, I know that person. Like, how do you think the Hulk sounded when they were first creating him? Like how they envisioned it?
I don't know how they might have envisioned it. I kind of hear, what's his face? Herman Munster, if anything.
Herman Munster? I gotta look up like a YouTube video of him talking.
Well, I can't even do a Herman Munster voice at all. When this is also, we reveal... So far, we have set up a whole lot. We have discovered like some government stuff. It's a government experiment gone wrong. And then he's turned into the Hulk. We got to see that transformation. He's randomly stopped the Russian spy from doing stuff. And then now he's reverting back into Bruce Banner. None of his clothes have ripped. They hadn't gotten to that concept yet. It's the 60s. It's still very early on.
Well,
that'll come later.
He's like Lou Ferrigno size Hulk.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, this is. Yeah. I mean, I could see some comic book accuracy behind that show because of that. In that sense,
Yeah.
Like he was, but Lou ripped those clothes off. Hell yeah.
He ripped those clothes off. Well, this Hulk doesn't even seem like that tall or wide because the one we know now is 8 feet tall, 800 pounds, whatever. And this one has slightly more believable proportions to his body. That's what I say by the Lou Ferrigno, because I think of the Lou Ferrigno Hulk, when I look at this one.
Yeah, no, 100%. But here's that same panel format that you're talking about, the top 2 and then 8 issues. This is one of the few that break it. This is, and there's only a handful that have broken it. Even on this one still, well, no, it's reversed at that point.
Yeah.
But just to backtrack on some of that.
I really like the 9-panel grid on the next one. Just because it breaks that fourth... Go back. By the time it gets to the fourth one, it breaks everything up to convey passage, a short passage of time by making the panel smaller.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Splitting he crushes the gun and then opens his palm back up.
Turning it into a 10 panel. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's cool stuff. Interesting layouts. I don't know. I mean, Kirby definitely got better over time. He also did just so many war comics and romance comics right before all this too.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the superhero format of some of that hadn't really been done yet. They were just trying to survive at this point still. But part 3, the search for the Hulk. And I mean, the most oblivious thing is they don't even care that Bruce is all ripped to shreds.
They walked into the room. They're like, "Have you seen the Hulk? How's your shirt ripped?"
Yeah, and they're just put 2 and 2 together. Maybe we fought him. Maybe he battered through here and we didn't see where he went. and they're just like, how did you
They're
not
like,
see?
why does this boy bust him out like that? He's like, they must mean you, Doc.
Oh, but it has the dotted little word balloon, so it's all in quiet. They must mean you, Doc.
Yeah. Let me just say this in front of a bunch of government soldiers.
Yeah, right. yeah. I don't know. Even if you're whispering, they're gonna be like, "What'd you guys just whisper right now, huh?" I love their like little description of the Hulk as they explain him on this page. He was huge, powerful. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he was a giant gorilla that escaped from the zoo. No, he was more like a big bear dressed in a probably. Oh, I can't read that. Dressed in tatters. Probably escaped from the circus somewhere.
Personally, I think the you jokers are seeing things. The way people talk in this book.
I know, it's so funny. And then why is Betty just hanging around like government calls?
With her dad?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, any Hulk movie I've seen or Hulk anything, she kind of does just show up at some point.
Like, what are you doing, girl? Like, don't you have a job? Oh, I don't know. It's the 60s. I guess that might be different. But why are you just following your dad around and going on these government calls? Like, this is top secret stuff. Why are you under his watch 24/7?
I know, right?
Like, but it's crazy. You could tell Bruce was like just a tripped out guy, even on this page. He looks very just so disturbed, especially when the sun starts going down, and he's just like he like knows what's going to happen. He's kind of figured it out.
The sun will
now.
set again.
That was a quick thing. Part 4. This is where we introduce our villain, fucking finally, of the story.
The part that kills me is like, for they do not suspect that the pasted onto my thumbnail is a sub miniature transmitter shortwave sending set.
Sending set. Yeah, I know. Yeah, when I read that, I was like, I can't put that together, but okay.
His TSWSS, his transistor shortwave sending set. Yeah.
That is such a cool Kirby thumb design, though, for that little transistor.
No,
that's a
it
Kirby.
is, and like, homie had a smartphone in his thumb.
Yeah, straight up.
Basically, no touchscreen.
This is advanced, even by our man. That is a perfect way for like women to like protect themselves, and like if they're in danger, you know what I mean. Like you have a thumb radio, like
that can go across the planet.
Yeah, get help
thousands of miles away.
Just solved a lot of crime right now.
And then we got Stan Lee writing Russian soldiers here. Comrade, I am receiving a code message from Igor.
T'Challa, why do you gotta fuck shit up all the time? Yeah, for reals. Quick, let me have it. Not even like translated from Russian or any of that type of stuff.
I'll give it to the gargoyle.
Which tripped me out because, like, okay, so you think that Igor is going to be the villain. Like, it's set up pretty well that way. Like, you think that's where the direction we're going in. And all of a sudden, we're introduced to the gargoyle.
Never heard of this guy until I read this issue.
Who the fuck is this guy? Like, where did he come from? Like, why is he part of this comic? Like,
I thought he was that one Hulk villain with the big brain.
I did too, the Thinker or whatever. Yeah, it's literally called the Thinker. But like, dude, we're on page 16. We have like 9 pages left of this book. And we're seeing the villain. Like Igor would have made sense as a villain. Igor would have totally been like,
oh yeah, totally. Yeah, just like at that
from the start. In fact, I thought my first read through, I just probably read it so fast. I thought Igor had like somehow turned into that by like, I don't know, maybe I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, oh, it's Igor. You know, that makes sense. He's the gargoyle. Nope. Gargoyle is a totally different dude.
Igor the Gargoyle.
Yes.
Gargoyle.
I thought it would have made sense. I don't know. But
and what is up with this base where like they just people drive through it to play a harmonica and missiles just launch at it casually and they take care of it like last minute?
Yeah. What is my cat eating? Dude, this whole page is kind of a trip. It really doesn't make sense. Now they're just tossing stuff together to put things to like add up in the story. Stop chewing on stuff, dude. Sorry, he's chewing my cord to my mic because he's an asshole. Now it's time for Gargoyle to meet the Hulk. I love how everybody knows the Hulk's name now. Like one dude said
everybody has to speak like it's almost like speaking in narration form always.
Yes. Literally, like it's like this guy, soldier said it, in part two, and gave him his name, and like maybe the military has now been like, hey, codename the Hulk. That's cool. We'll call him that. But like that just shows that Russian intelligence is always listening to us because now they know he's called the Hulk, and that's the only explanation I got for that.
His legendary name was made by some random American soldier.
Dude, wasn't it just? It's daylight. That is a blue sky. And he's turning into the Hulk.
Transforms.
Okay.
That's why I gotta stay with you, Doc. Without me around, you might do something awful. Like, who is this guy to like be his best friend?
Dude, they met because he was a jackass playing a harmonica in a car on a test site. Like, if I was Bruce Banner, I'd be like, kid, fuck you. Like, you ruined my life.
Well, it's his fault. Yeah, it's his fault that he basically ran out there.
Yes, exactly. But they crash. I don't know how Rick Jones is okay. I get why the Hulk is alive because he turned into the Hulk. But like, Rick Jones, why does he have like super strength? I mean, of course, later on we learn stuff. Rick Jones, he's somebody. But what the whatever. I guess, and they just dump.
Maybe the Hulk protected him. I don't know.
Good point. Did not think about that.
Yeah, he could have put himself around him. I don't know, hugged him and protect him.
And they just okay. So we now know that the gargoyle just left in the middle of whatever desert that Bruce and Rick Jones are hanging out in again, and he's following him in the desert. And then we kind of go back. What the fuck are you doing, T'Challa? We go back to Betty and Colonel Ross, and they, Betty hasn't moved out. She doesn't have like a husband, so I guess it's the 60s. I guess she didn't have her own place. Like she wasn't married or anything yet. But I hate my cat right now. But dad is just like reading the newspaper in his lazy boy, and he says some stupid what is it, girl? You've seen trouble all day. And you're just like, dude, what is it, girl? Like, that's your daughter, motherfucker.
That's Stanley writing in the 1960s, man.
Yeah, for real. It's
honey, like painful to get through sometimes.
Honey, you just need a little fresh air.
He's like, Dad's right. Perhaps a walk in the crisp night air will clear my head. Will drive the troubled face of Bruce Banner from my thoughts.
I know, she's crying over Bruce. And okay, so how far do they not live? Like far from the base, I guess. Like,
it's like they almost live on one of the houses in the testing site.
Yeah, for reals. Like, they're so close. Who owns a home next to a nuclear testing site? Whatever.
General Ross does. Okay.
And I don't know the gargoyle. Why is he named the gargoyle? Does he have a gun in his hand?
Here. Yeah, he does. You remember he's the one with that special weapon against the Hulk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not like any type of gun. It's a gun that will make anyone his slave as we enter the Hulk Triumphant. These are some cool titles though. The Hulk Triumphant. But it makes anybody a slave to the gargoyle. What a goofy name. He seems like a mad scientist, an experiment gone wrong.
Get this. The gargoyle was voiced by Mark Hamill in the animated series.
Hell yeah.
In 1996.
I gotta watch that series. I'm sure it's on Disney.
I didn't even know it existed.
I think I might have known, but I don't recall it like immediately. It's kind of like that Silver Surfer show. Like it exists.
Oh yeah, the Silver Surfer show that no one talks about.
I heard it's pretty. I saw part of it. It's actually pretty sweet. There's some cool stuff if you take it for what it is. You know what I mean? This is stupid. This whole wrap up to this comic ends so fast. They just really zoop it together right now, as we have our epic battle with the final villain. So he controls the Hulk and Rick Jones. He shoots them both. Betty Ross is knocked out. Where did Betty come from again?
She was
walking outside. That's right. Yeah. And
she saw the Hulk and then like passed out when she fainted when she saw him. And then the gargoyle shows up and like takes control of Hulk and his homie. And then for some reason just ignored Betty Ross. And then she's out there and her dad just happens to run outside right when they get taken away. Dude, makes zero sense. How any of this went down.
And they finally, in the early hours before daybreak, the rendezvous is reached. Hurry, row faster, you dolt. Nothing must stop me now.
You dolt.
for minutes later, they go into like space. They like shoot him.
Well, they're going. This is where like the fantasy aspect comes in, where they tie technology and they go to space to fly to Russia.
Yeah.
And then like they get there by morning, but then Bruce Banner, like, the thing that's funny is like the gargoyle is like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "He's been in your craft the whole time. You didn't notice?"
Like, look how small that. Just look behind you, dude. Plus the weight fluctuation. Please.
Yeah,
Excuse
like
me,
flying,
like-
you like you didn't notice the shift in weight, sir.
And then the gargoyle is just really upset. Like he's
He's like, "I'll give anything to be normal."
Oh yeah, because he freaks out. He sees Bruce Banner. He's like, you could turn into that and then become yourself. And he's like,
Yeah.
tragedy behind the villain.
Dude,
because
this
he
is one
can't
of the
turn
funniest-
normal.
Yeah, this is one of the funniest panels just because he goes, "It was because of you that I became what I was, because I worked on your secret bomb test, but it took an American." And I love that, like, they have to, like, put these bold letters and fonts.
Yeah.
Took an American to cure me. And what do you say? "I am no longer the gargoyle and I can defy you." And stand for like a man.
It's we got some cool Kirby drawings on this part that Fantastic Four microscope, giant microscope thing beam that's going
Yeah.
on. That's pretty sweet. But Bruce
color
was
to it,
just like,
too.
"Oh, you want to be normal? I got this." And then he just makes something. And he's fine. And then this dude
His
just
secret
like,
gamma formula, remember?
yes, exactly, yeah. And then he tells the Russians he's over it. And then the Russians are just like super upset. This whole part makes no sense.
You
But
mean
they
the
bail.
disaster? You mean how like the gargoyle destroys this like Russian base?
Yeah. And they take another rocket to escape and go back to America. Cool. Got it. And that's the end. That's the Hulk #1. What a trippy story,
There's-
though. Like,
There's a lot that happens, like a lot of these stories. And there's another line on this page that was hilarious to me. Let me see. Oh, right here at the last panel. He's like, "It's the end of the gargoyle and perhaps the beginning of the end of Red Tyranny too." Like,
so fuck you to Russia in this entire
yeah, like
comic.
like I read this and all I got from it was like Stanley was just like hating on Russia, and then like it's just like sexist dialogue towards Betty Ross.
Yeah,
And-
for reals. Dude, it's even worse than the Fantastic Four, though. There's some stuff where I'm just like I'm a Reed Richards fan because I like modern Fantastic Four. I am a Fantastic Four fan. But like there's some shit that Reed says to like Sue that I'm like, damn, dude, like cool.
Like, yeah, like reading these, you're just like, Jesus Christ, this is what it was like back in the 60s. Like,
Whew. Man, it's a trip. It's a wow, it's a rough cover.
the terror of the Toadman. And he's already
Yeah.
green. So,
oh
like-
man.
How did you feel when you first read that like issue of Hulk? Like when you sat down and actually read it?
I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I genuinely enjoyed it. I genuinely like get where where this was coming from at the times. I totally get where this was coming from in the sense of oh crap. Just like making a character, like for
Mhm.
not having a lot to base off of it. I mean, there again, like Daredevil, the foundation's all there. I can see how they carried on, how he became something. It's a cool comic, dude. They set up like for as much bad as there is in it, there's a lot of good. Like that
There's a lot of setup. Yeah.
yeah, like that
Um,
page 1, that character setup is brilliant. It's great. It's so smooth. You're not lost in that comic. It was very immersive, and it makes you kind of want to read more at that point. Like
Yeah.
there's like you said, there's so much packed into it that it's very interesting, hands down.
Yeah, like, I wanted to understand why the 9-panel grid was such a thing in the book, but I couldn't figure it out. And I think they just did it because it looks cool. But
I think it's just the way the
Mhm.
design fell out, and I mean, of course, Marvel style. Jack did all of that just to kind of like you're kind of telling a scene a page at that point.
Yeah. And also, he was drawing like multiple books. He was also, here's the thing that I feel like is really special about these stories is, yes, they are great foundations. Like the origin stories, I will give them credit. They created there's so many like elements to the stories that work. Like if it was written properly, and sorry to say, if it was written better, it's all amazing stuff.
yeah.
And don't get me wrong, again, the origin comics are awesome for what they've contributed, obviously, because they created the superheroes. But also, and we've talked about this before, how Stan Lee gets a lot of credit for all these creations and all these stories that have been written. And don't get me wrong, he did a lot. But it was also no secret at Marvel that, like, the artists drew the story and Stan Lee filled in the artwork.
Yeah, exactly. That's that. Jack Kirby is uncredited, didn't get nearly as much credit, and that's just like one of those heartbreaking facts that his name should be plastered everywhere, not Stan's.
Yeah.
And I will fucking call that out right now.
It's like that for every book, you know. I'm pretty sure they went through because he was in charge of so many like stories. All the artists did everything, and then he just filled it in.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think, like, yes, these origin stories are created by a team, but how much of it was actually like Stan? How much of it was Jack? Or like in Daredevil, how much of it was like Bill Everett, and how much was it Stan, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And, you know, reading something like Hulk, like, this is really cool shit. Like the gamma bomb going off and him turning into this monster thing. And it's just like, I really want to know, like, how much of that was Jack's creations.
Exactly. Like, I really want to know, like, an in-depth, you know, maybe I have some comics journals that I've been wanting to dig through and check out some interviews. And I'm always chasing down Kirby stuff. So I'll definitely try to give that answer for us soon. Once I get to, like, some nice, enjoyable research mode stuff. So we'll keep that at the top of our minds as we climb through a lot of this early things, and as we do some research on these books too, because I'm sure we're gonna go on a kick on. I'm sure there's some Amazon Prime documentary that we can get some insight on. Yeah, Amazon Prime has a lot of really cool comic book documentaries. Not gonna lie.
They also have just really random. You know, there's a Val Kilmer documentary on there.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even know they made this.
It's called Val.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like this issue. It was better than Daredevil. I never thought I'd say the day that there's a better Hulk book than Daredevil, but there definitely was. There was issue ones.
And yeah, even in the beginning, agreed.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think like the setup and everything is really awesome, and like everything's straight to the point. It makes sense. It's just, I think the worst part about those books are definitely his sidekick.
Rick Jones.
I already forgot his name. Rick Jones.
Yeah.
What was his like full official name? Richard Milhouse Jones.
Yeah, Milhouse. God damn it.
Yeah. So I liked it. It's just
the whitest names ever in all these books. Jesus Christ! Like,
let's just throw out there, when I was doing some research on Hulk, Stan Lee had a typo, and he accidentally called Bruce Banner Bob Banner, and everybody was like, "Is his name Bob?" And they're like, "Oh shit." So they committed to it and basically said his name is Robert Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
And it like, again, I hate sounding like the guy that's like bashing Stan Lee, but like the dude was kind of sloppy with like his craft.
Didn't you also say he was named like not Ben, Barry? You said it was Barry.
Yeah,
in
there's
one.
I did like an Instagram post or something where the Hulk was in Frank Miller's Daredevil, and it's Barry Banner or something like that, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that's a mind.
There's a whole nother reason apparently for why they changed his name, but I'll have to double check it.
Well, we're gonna coming up next, probably on these first issues, we're gonna stick to our Marvel trend. We're looking at one of the next three will come out. It's gonna be between either Luke Cage or Thor, depending if we could get Home Slice Ryan from across the Bifrost on the show. And you know, I will probably drop a link to a show so you guys. I'm sure he's covered number one for sure. So
yeah, I messaged him. I'm still waiting for him to get back to me.
As this episode comes out like a month later.
Yeah, I know. I'm all like volunteering him to be on our show.
But check out his episode on that. Get some insight, because it probably has way more facts and trivia knowledge. We're just analyzing it as first time readers of these issues, and for fun, and
just see how we feel about it.
Seeing how we feel about it. We're not even trying to give you guys a whole breakdown of everything that we can, because it's just goofy shit.
As much as I'd like to really break it down, my thing is like, I think they just did things just to do it.
Yeah.
And I think like, if I overthink it, I'm just gonna go down this rabbit hole and just try to create all these scenarios as to how they created these books, and it just seems better to just accept it.
Yeah, agreed. Well, with that, thanks for. Thanks for hanging. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody. Well, thanks for having me.